Hello everyone, welcome back to Total Football Talk. So we're going to look at all the latest news and football news coming out of Manchester United and transfer news that's surrounding the club. As always, it's just the club that keeps on rolling with the news. So this is your 10-minute daily roundup of all the news that's currently out there. I'm Keith, the host, and this is Total Football Talk. So thank you very much for joining me this morning, this afternoon, this evening. If you're enjoying the content, please hit the old subscribe button, right hand bottom corner of the screen. Give me a thumbs up and a like if you're enjoying the content. It massively helps me out. All free to do. Get your comments in below on anything that we talk about. And we'll start with Diego Costa. So Diego Costa is apparently the latest goalkeeper that we have been linked to. Now, I've seen him sort of sporadically this season. I've seen in previous seasons. Obviously seen him play for Portugal. He's a very good goalkeeper, but I'm not sure whether he's the right fit for us. I don't know whether he can mentally have the right kind of whether he could cope with playing in the Manchester United jersey, with the number 1 jersey. I don't know whether he's the right fit. He's a goalkeeper predominantly who's good at 3 things: good with his feet, good at shot stopping, and also good with his ability to control his box. But we played against him this season, and obviously you can't judge it in one game, but he wasn't very good when we played against Porto in the Europa League this year. And I've seen him play in other games, and I've seen him make some pretty basic errors, and it does worry me. He has had a couple of good seasons, but it just feels like this season he hasn't been great. And his release clause is kind of somewhere in the 60 million mark. And I just think that's too much for a goalkeeper. That's too big a risk for us. Because obviously Onana's not the right fit. Bayinda's probably not the right fit. Tom Heaton's leaving, and the younger goalkeepers that we have that are as good as they are, Eli Harrison's a very good goalkeeper, and Murdoch's a very good goalkeeper. They're so young that we probably need to bring in someone with a bit more experience. So, we've been linked to Trafford, we've been linked to Chavalele from Lille. There are other goalkeepers that we've been linked to, and I would like to pursue them a little bit more over Diego Costa, because I'm not sure, as I said, I don't know if he's the right answer to our goalkeeping problems. But that's the news on Costa. So we'll look at other news that's coming in, and this is slightly problematic. This is Real Betis will not pay the £580,000 penalty agreed with Manchester United, as Anthony has met the conditions by reaching the minimum 15 matches he was required to play as a starter by playing at least one full half. United are still eligible to receive a bonus if Betis qualify for the Champions League or win the Conference League. Now, I believe that we're in a situation where we need Anthony to keep doing well. Anthony has stated that he indicates that he would like to stay there. And I heard Adam Matic talk about this on Forever United TV this morning. The word indicates is a funny one, because he indicates that. I think if he could get a move somewhere else to a slightly more prestigious club, I think he would try and take it, which would maybe help us. But what it does do, if we do try to do a deal with another club, and it's not Betis, he's currently at Betis at the minute. He's doing very, very well. He's been excellent since he's gone there. It's really worked out for him. He's put himself back in the shop window. The problem with that is, if he moves to another club, we have to then start negotiating all over again. Where he's with Betis, so maybe that would potentially move that deal a bit quicker. But if not, if he moves, we then have to start trying to negotiate all over again with a new club. And all this does is this drags out the summer window, because apparently we are looking at Delap and Cunha. But what we'll do is we'll have a quick look at what's being said about Joshua Zirkzees before I talk about Delap. And apparently Joshua Zirkzees will be out for several weeks with a hamstring injury that could rule him out for the rest of the season. And I think where we are with Joshua Zirkzees is all depends on our Europa League campaign. Same with Ahmad. We need to carry on somehow and get past Lyon tomorrow night, get into the semis, and find a way to get these players back. But only if we have something to fight for. There's no point in these players coming back to finish the tail end of the Premier League if there's nothing there to fight for. They might as well just sit it out, get themselves rested, have a pre-season, and get ready for next season. But if there's something to fight for, then these players, we have to try and see if we can get them back, but without, pushing them to the point where we're going to break them again. Because what we don't want is them to come back, play a game or two, potentially us get to the final and either lose them for the final or play them in the final and they break down and lose them for the entire summer. And some of these players might want to take the risk, especially if we got to the final, to try and get themselves back to be available, which would be good. But we need to be really careful with this. So everything's dependent on Thursday. Joshua Zirkzees is going to be out. And then this takes me to my next topic, and this is that Manchester United are, we are looking for Delap is apparent. I haven't got the still for this, but Delap is apparently between Manchester United and Chelsea, and it may come down to money. 30 million is what they're talking about. Is the release clause once Ipswich get relegated, which they probably will do now at this stage. Who will get it, Chelsea or will Manchester United get it? My concern with this is, as good as Delap is, I don't see us selling Højlund, and then we've got rotational strikers of Højlund and Delap, roughly around the same age, have roughly the same amount of experience in the Premier League. Højlund, who has had a very poor season this year, Delap's had a better season in comparison, a much better season. But are those two strikers going to help propel us to where we need to go in the Champions League, or sorry, to up the league in the Premier League to get it even into the top six? I'm not sure. Now, the talk about Cunha coming in, and this is my concern on this one, if we were to get him, brilliant. I love it. I'd love him to come in. I really want him to be part of the team. But can we sell enough players in the early part of the transfer window to bring Cunha in early? Because we're going to have to try and get rid of Sancho, Rashford and Delap. Now, obviously, there was a little bit of news coming out. This is what Wayne Rooney had to say about Marcus Rashford last night. Wayne Rooney was saying Marcus Rashford wants to play for Manchester United 100%. He's a Manchester United lad and he's a Manchester United fan. He needed to play, and it was clear it wasn't going to happen for him for the rest of the season. Sometimes you have to put the manager in a position where he cannot leave you out. Marcus Rashford is an ideal, in an ideal world, would want to play would want to play and leave a legacy at Manchester United. Whether that's possible or not, I don't know, but I'd love to see it. Now, Wayne Rooney obviously has spoke very well about Manchester United. As a pundit, he's come out with some very good takes. But I don't know whether Marcus Rashford does want to come back to Manchester United. I don't think Ruben would have him back at Manchester United. And I think there's now also talk that if we sell Marcus Rashford to Aston Villa, the deal is 40 million, but apparently 20 of that million is going to be slashed off with his wages. So we're going to make a profit of 20 million on a player. Now, lots of content creators, and myself included, have said that 40 million for Rashford would be great. 20 million for Rashford is a farce. It's an absolute joke. If we have to slash half his fee on his wages, and we're trying to build a squad for next season, and I get it. We get the wages off the books, and we get a player who's disgruntled out of the club. I get all that, but that seems too low to me. Now, I don't know whether we'll get a better fee for that. Maybe we probably won't. That leaves us in a precarious situation to try and get the likes of Cunha. Because if we do get a Cunha, it'll probably be later in the window. And I've got a funny feeling that Cunha isn't going to hang around waiting too long in the window. And that's where we may lose out. And that's my massive concern, is we may lose out on him because we might have to wait to the end of the transfer window. Because by that time, we've got maybe Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, all those deals done. But the longer those deals drag on, the less likely we are to get Cunha, and that's my worry. Because if we get Delap, by God, do we need Cunha? Because if we get Delap and we don't get Cunha, I dread to think what's going to happen next season. Okay, so just a couple of little bits on where Manchester United are in the scouting department. So Manchester United scouting department are putting emphasis on identifying African talent ahead of this summer transfer window and beyond. Further recruitment from the continent has been largely powered by Vivel. The club are very happy with Sekikone and his development to date. Now, obviously, I thought Sekikone might have come into the team by this stage. Obviously, we are looking at the African market. I think it's a bit of an untouched resource at the minute. Vivel's very good at finding these little gems and bringing them through. Sekikone is one of them. As I said, he's been playing in the under-21s. He's 19. I would like to see him, especially if we get knocked out of the Europa League, or even if we carry on in the Europa League. I'd love to see him be brought into that midfield, sort of into the midfield ranks, and to see what he can do in the last few games of the Premier League whenever there's nowhere near as much riding on it. And I think that'd be a perfect opportunity to have a look at him. But if we're looking at the African market, we know we're definitely looking in the South American market. Finally, we're maybe going to start picking up gems here and there and finding a way to bring them into the team. But as I said, it can't always be about unknown gems. We need some proven quality players, otherwise we're going to absolutely struggle. And then the last little bit of news, and this was just again talking about a young player who's breaking through, and it's insiders at Manchester United have been left so impressed with both Harry Amos's work ethic and his resilience leading up to this first start against Newcastle. Great to see Harry Amos doing really well. Absolutely delighted with the kid. Seen him play in the youth team, seen him play in the under-21s. He is technically good. He gets up and down the wing. Defensively, he's decent. He's better going forward. And I think the kid has half a chance of making it, but he'll need a good end of the season. He'll probably need a few more games, and he will have a lot of competition when Diego Leon comes in the summer, who'll be also vying for the same position as him. And he's another 17-year-old coming in, who maybe has a bit more experience playing in the Paraguayan league than maybe Amas has at this stage. So maybe he's slightly ahead of Amas, but gives us competition for places. I'd love to see another young player come through, but Harry Amas just needs to keep his head down, do what he's doing, and keep giving himself the best opportunity to get into this team. But we can't be relying on Harry Amas to solve all our problems. Same with Dogru, same with Yoro. These are all young kids who are trying to find their way in the Premier League at the minute, and it's very, very difficult in a terrible Manchester United team, the worst ever in Premier League history, with a board that's still trying to function properly, and they're not running at 100% yet. They're not even at 50% yet. They have a long way to go before they can sort of claim that they've got themselves to do it into a position where they can help Manchester United drive forward. But that's your 10-11 minute roundup, guys. Thank you very much for listening. As I said, if you're enjoying the content, please hit the old subscribe button. Please hit the thumbs up. Get your comments in below on Harry Amas. Are we going to miss Zirkzee? You know, what do you think about Real Betis? Would you like to see Anthony go there? Do you think someone else will come in for him? Diego Costa, is he the goalkeeper for you? Get your thoughts in. Let me know what you think about that. And yeah, I shall see you tomorrow.